Welcome to the Stoked Bloke Show, people. I'm Barton Lynch. I am the Stoked Bloke. We're coming to you from the Pipeline Studios here on the North Shore of Oahu, courtesy of a New Earth project, and I'm joined by the one and only Peter PK King.
How's it going?
You.
Somebody got healed, huh?
Oh, mate, can you feel it in the voice?
Just a couple knives and what was in there? What did they find?
They found a couple of chunks, a couple of rocks, and I suppose back to the old jam donut between your vertebrae, and the disc gets squeezed when you do something, and which I did do at jiu-jitsu and then surfing and the wave pool, and never listened, and I will be trying to listen a lot more in the future. What I did do was print out some of the injuries that I've suffered over the years.
Wow. When they had you cut open, did they see the tree rings and figure out how old you are?
Exactly. The wear and the tear rings. But you know what? I got it. You know, you come to out of surgery. I get in a wheelchair. They wheel me 5 feet.
A glimpse into your future.
I need to stand up. And I stand up and I'm not in pain for the first time in 3 months. And after that torment, every day, all day, never being able to get out of it. And you can see in the MRI how much impingement was on the spine from the debris out of that disc. It was gnarly. So they go in there, cut you open, move everything to the side and just go to work on cleaning everything out of there. And there was quite a bit of debris in there. And it was an extreme situation. They kept saying, you know, it was an extreme situation. You weren't going to get your way out of this through some other means, you know, and perhaps the injections might have done something or it naturally healed, but mine was a little too extreme for that, and we're back. Everything feels good, PK. It doesn't matter what it is. Doing the dishes, just standing, just sitting.
Would you like to do our dishes?
Sitting on a plane. I would love to do the dishes. Anything. Life feels so good when you're out of pain. So big thank you to everybody who was on my side and in my team and who went to bat for me as an uninsured Australian living in America and made it a situation that wasn't going to destroy the bank account and the family, and you end up having to sell your house or whatever just to you know, pay your way with the cost of medical expenses here. So big thank you to everyone, and the joy I experience now every day, every moment, which I've always had, I suppose. But you realise it was gone, mate. It was a struggle to do everything. And now I can actually stand at the loo and wait to do your business.
Stand at the loo. That is so Australian.
It doesn't matter how long you're standing there, you know, the old bloke might take a while sometimes to get things going, you know, and you're just like, oh, it's just joyful just to be here everywhere. Every moment since that surgery, I've just been so grateful, so appreciative, and so stoked to be back. But then, you know, there's another 3 months ahead of me. They say that, you know, you've got to give it 3 months. They shave that debris off the disc wall, so that side of the disc needs to heal so that not, you know, and properly so that other stuff doesn't squeeze out when you're in moments of exertion and finding yourself in situations that, you know, you're twisting or rotating. So I can't really bend, rotate, twist too much at this point, and I've still got a couple of months ahead of me. But it's all good, man. It's all great.
A pain-free stoked bloke.
Pain-free stoked bloke.
I can see the energy.
Yeah, I'm excited, mate. I'm very
excited.
excited.
How was the plane ride home from California to Hawaii?
The plane ride there was the shortest plane ride that I've ever been on.
Why?
And because, I'll tell you why, because the world's like that. It was the first time in my entire life I'd ever paid for a first-class ticket because I was in so much pain.
First time?
Yeah, I've never flown anything, but I've been upgraded twice to business, and every other time I'm cattle class, mate. I've never bought anything other than... And I buy my first-class ticket, and I get on there, and I lay it down. I'm in pain the whole time anyway, so it's unenjoyable. The flight took like 3.5 hours. Instead of 5:20, we were there an hour earlier. Wow. And I was like, no, I paid for this one. Why for the first time ever you were on time and faster than normal? That was a little disappointing. The plane ride back, I was a bit concerned. Like, what would this feel? It was
sitting at that 90-degree angle.
Walk in the park, mate. It was good. Except there was no screen. I was thinking I was going to get to watch a couple of movies, but none of that.
No screen. What airline were you on?
United,
did they have cigarettes?
Always late.
Did they have
yeah, like the cigarette thing. Remember when they used to smoke on the planes?
there's still planes that fly on once in a while that have
No.
the cigarette
Oh,
tray.
the cigarette thing. I remember taking the pillowcase off the pillow and putting it over my head and holding it at the bottom, trying not to breathe the cigarette smoke from the smoking area that
I
started
know,
at the seat behind
one
you.
aisle back. Yeah.
And they're blowing the smoke over you. That was radical to think that we lived in a time when that was okay. I suppose we're a little late to the party on the Final Five. I know you caught up with Kai and Kelly and got to discuss that. I saw them.
You were about to go under surgery, or you were just coming out of it.
Yeah, I'd flown up on that Thursday night. On the Friday, I did all my tests. Had my first EKG in 7 years, maybe,
Like a
or so.
stress test where you had to run and all that?
No, not that, just because I couldn't walk.
Just electronic
Yeah, just the
monitoring.
electronic monitoring twice. Heart looked great. As a post-heart attack person, I was very excited to hear that. Went to the dermatologist for the first time in 15 years, 10.
And they couldn't find your face?
They had to kind of claw their way around. It's definitely on the comeback, after the El Salvadorian trim-up.
Yeah. Let's go through your history like I'm your doctor. Have you had any injuries?
And they give you like a little
Not
paragraph to write.
emotional ones, not losing the world title on the last day of the year, nothing like that.
No.
Physical injuries.
These are the physical injuries. I've had 3 broken noses, all surfing. One was a little pull into a closeout, and you know, when you kind of stone, and then the rail went bang straight in there. One was a duck dive, and the turbulence underneath the ball went bang straight into my face. So this thing's been, and then the third almighty one was in a barroom brawl in Roppongi, Tokyo, Japan, when I got beat up by some US Marines for having a loud mouth, and imagine that. And that was the third break where I got just beat to a pulp that night. That was 100%.
What other surfers might we know were around and involved in that?
Well, the only surfer around on that particular night was Rod Kerr.
Box would have been good to have
Box
around,
was good around, and he was covered in blood because he was trying to protect me from the poundings I was copping. And the first person I ran into after that, my sponsors picked me up the next. I went straight home, went to bed, woke up, face was so swollen I thought they'd broken my nose back. I was like, it was straight with all. I went, my nose is straight.
They fixed it.
They fixed it. There's a positive, a silver lining, but that was without question a concussion. I went to the airport to fly to the next event, and Kelly saw me, and he took a photo of my head that was just blown up and mutated and scarred, and so that wasn't fun. But 3 brokens. I've had a broken right collarbone. That's this side, isn't it? I've had stitches in my left ankle from a fin chop, stitches in the old fist from punching myself in the head in a mirror, and that's another story. Torn medial ligaments in my left knee from sunset, stitches in the back of my head from a wipeout at the box, broken ribs from snowboarding, 2003 right shoulder dislocation, 2006 right shoulder dislocation, 2009 right shoulder dislocation into surgery on this side.
Would you be putting that back in after it came out?
No. I couldn't get it back in. I had to go to the hospital and get cut the wetsuit off with a knife and yank that thing back into place, and then had surgery on that one that's felt good ever since. I had took fins out on my right thigh muscle and cut the thigh muscle on my right thigh. I had a surgery where I had so many varna or sea urchins impaled in my right heel that Tommy Carroll saw this, and he said to me the other day, remember that heel when you had all the... That was a radical one. They dug for 6 hours under local anaesthetic, 3 hours the first arvo. I went back the next day. Then they said, hey, mate, you've got to go for surgery. We just can't get them. Also, I had surgery on it in the end. I had a gash in the arch of my left foot and stitches in there. I was walking along Whale Beach. We had a Masters coming up, and in my mind I went, you know what, I'm going to reach out to Thomas and see if he wants to do some training and preparation for this together. As I had the thought, I stepped onto something that sliced the bottom of my foot so sharp, and I looked down, it's just blood gushing everywhere. I'm like, okay, I won't reach out to Thomas and do that. Okay, I get that message. But, and then I'm looking on the ground, there was nothing. I could not find what had cut me.
Really?
Yeah, it was not a shell or a piece of oyster or whatever, but so that was a radical one. Oh, I've had a lot, mate. Broken toe, super glue in my eye. That's a good story, maybe for another day. I've got a lower spine spondylosis, which I've had for quite some time in L5S1. complete convulsion of semimembranosus, which is your hamstring being...
Wait. What language was that?
This is medical language.
Say it again.
Complete convulsion of semimembranosus, which is the Mick Fanning injury where you tear the hamstring off the bone and they have to have surgery to reconnect that hamstring. I had that. Left hip, full replacement. Finger, I got this finger.
When did you get your hip replaced?
That was about 12 years ago. I was about 50, 10 years ago, about a decade ago, that one was. Heart attack, stent put in.
Oh, just a heart attack, yeah.
In my circumflex artery. Nasal surgery, right knee ACL tear, snowboarding in Japan, sprained right ankle, broken toe, a rib tweak in 2021 from jiu-jitsu. And then the last three, and they say they come in threes, and I'm hoping this is the end, was the foil between the toe webbing, and gashed myself there and had to stitch that one up. Then I had my February 2022 skateboard injury where I blew this shoulder up, tore off supraspinatus, tore off subscapularis, had a bicep tendons tear, dislocation and a labral tear and a fractured wrist. So that was a goodie, had all that fixed up. Into the spinal surgery. And so they're my last three. And I sit here and just, all I want to do is stay healthy, stay uninjured, get back in the water, go with baby steps and try and not do this to myself again. And somewhere in the lesson of life, that's 60 years of living though. But
60 years of skating, surfing, walking.
Snowboarding.
Foiling.
Somewhat...
a lot of side stance board sports.
Exactly, all one-way stuff. And you can see how many right side injuries there are because you're leading with your right.
The lead side.
And they do say that's the masculine side, isn't it? So there's that ambition and ego and human in there charging at stuff, wanting to do stuff and just coming up short.
There'll be a test on all this later.
Yeah, sorry to bore you with it all, but it's just to indicate the things that I've personally been through in my journey to live my dreams, to live the way I want to do it. And none of it stops me. Maybe I need to learn a little more and in some different ways and take some different approaches, which is hopefully what's going to come out of this final chapter in the last three injuries that have been back to back and had me in the last 2 years out of the water for a year.
Wow.
And just in the last couple, I've been out for a year. A lot of downtime, a lot of thinking, a lot of living. But we've been productive, we've been purposeful, we've started all sorts of stuff. And injuries behind us, moving forward in a pain-free, self-healing body, it needs a little help from surgery when you beat it up like I have. I'm very excited to announce, ladies and gentlemen, that on November 17th, 2023, the Barton Lynch Pro Surfing video game is going to be released. The game's finished, gone through all of its approval, and the trailer's out. They're going to media as of today, and we're only waiting, what's that? About a month?
I don't know. I'm not good with...
Got to be close. Hold on, let me tell you. 26, less than a month.
Less than a month.
Less than a month's time. November 17th, Barton Lynch Pro Surfing will be out there on the market. We're going to be giving that away during the Blast-Off as well, which kicks
Blast-Off is coming up, right?
As well. That kicks off October 16th.
And that's 14 and under, Blast-Off?
14 and under.
And 60 and over.
60 and over, that's called re-entry, where you re-enter the grommet phase by sending us your videos and we coaching you if you're over 60. Would you be interested in that?
Yeah.
So yeah, mate, super excited that the video game is finally at that point where it's going to be released. Here's the trailer. Check it out. I hope you enjoy it.
Good morning. Aloha kaka hiaka kako. We are at the Billabong Pipeline Pro and it is on. The swell has grown overnight and we have epic conditions.
Yeah, Kaipo, exciting times. The final of one of the most prestigious events on this tour. Everybody wants to win the Billabong Pipeline Pro.
Lynch Pro Surfing. Coming soon.
It's going to be on every system?
Steam, PS5 and Xbox. No phones. We're not one of them cheap games.
Oh, okay.
Not a cheap. We're a console.
So this is a console game, not like
Yes.
a little iPhone game.
Yeah. We're next level, mate. We're the proper real deal. Hopefully.
Well, it needs a lot of processing power from what I've seen. That's not going to happen on a phone. You would get a cheaper version.
Yeah.
You end up doing all that weird swiping. And to be honest, you know what I recently got, BL?
What?
Because, you know, I film. I sit on the beach a lot and
Yeah.
film. I bought an MP3 player because I always listen to music on my phone, but I don't want to drain the battery. So
Yes.
revolutionary. I bought a little thing that plays music.
I was going to say,
And I
what
put
is
the
an
headphones
MP3
in,
player?
But it plays the file as an MP3, so I've got 13,000 songs on this little thing sitting in my head. So it's a surf movie every time I'm watching. But I just went back to not using my phone for music. You know, now I'm using this external piece. So I'd like to actually go back to using just I want a flip phone. An old flip phone, Nokia or, you know, Motorola or a flip phone. I just want the tiniest phone. I want to talk on the phone and hang up.
Yeah, well, that's you look at the deplatforming or demonetizing of Russell Brand's incredible channels.
What if they did that to you when you're not even making money?
Well, that I thought that. Who cares? I was like, well, that'd be simple. That'd make life great, eh? If
That would be good marketing.
I'd be like, sweet, I'm out of here, mate. Don't have to, you know.
Can't,
so that's not,
can't deplatform something that isn't
or
making any-
demonetize something that isn't monetized. That's exactly right. But I feel for him, mate. He's someone who's put his heart out there, you know, and I suppose Joe Rogan's next. They're going to be going for people. You can see who they're going to go for.
Well, they came for Rogan. They came for him.
originally, yeah.
And Spotify just said, no, we're good. So they had the backbone to stand up for him. YouTube's not standing up for anyone. Obviously, they didn't care about Russell Brand when he was living a, you know, debauched life and just being crazy. They were celebrating him.
Yes.
But now that he's come out
Yes.
against, you know.
Now he's found himself, stabilised his existence, got
And
rid
they're
of
coming
his
after him,
addictions,
of course. Yeah,
you know.
yeah.
And I think
Here come the accusations.
And I think that's the point. He knew they were going to come. He admits to certain things, and then you imagine, and we know the media, we understand what happens, and you can see that he's being targeted, and they will take you out and take you down, and that's the reality of the
Well,
time.
they'll do what's within their power, right?
Do we not see a step up in the second phase of the execution of the Great Reset?
It's coming. I mean, you just listed
see
162. You just listed 162 ailments, but that didn't knock you down. So if it's just some, you know, media platform that we don't even need tries to stop what you're doing, so what?
Yeah, and he, you know, I want to give him my support. I appreciate that bloke. I think his voice is a balanced voice that has perspective and experience and understanding, and it's the type of perspective that is important for people to hear so they can make correct judgments, mate. If you're only hearing one thing, you imagine us in today's world without social media, without the internet. We would know nothing and we would be puppets. And social media and the internet and the opportunity for information and education to be at the fingertips of anyone with a phone or a computer has changed the world and allowed what would be considered the rival of the Great Reset at this point in time would be the Great Awakening. And there are more like-minded people who think the same way, who share common thoughts, who are able to connect with people. And there are definitely two distinct changes going on at the same time. There's two sort of battles for the future almost going on at the same time, where there's people coming to terms with what it is and seeing it, but seeing a future that is bright and free and loving. And then there's this other side of the ledger, which is the Great Reset, which sounds a lot like communism. It sounds a lot like tyranny in North Korea and China and places that I don't know you'd be packing your bags to go live in. So there is this moment in time, and Russell Brand definitely was on the side of the awakening and sharing ideas and concepts from that side of the fence, and they hate that side of the fence because that is the real light. Yeah. There's sort of dark and light in this thing too, and the light, it'll succeed in the same way that you keep pushing through stuff. The light always wins because it has to have complete shutout for darkness to win. And you imagine a complete black room, and you tear back a little corner on the blind, and a stream of light comes shooting into that room, and that light is opportunity, that is life, that is hope, and it needs to be completely gone, because just a little bit is enough to keep hope alive. And so I feel like that's the time we're in. There's people trying to shut it down and keep it dark. There's other people bringing the light, and you keep bringing the light, and it doesn't take a lot for that to propagate and continue to flourish and grow. And the light and the truth and the honesty will always win the day. And that's the side we're on, peoples.
So the top 5.
Yeah, we did. We
So
got to watch that.
what did you think about the top 5? You were right on Caroline Marks, Goofy Football.
I picked them, and on Philippe. So we picked the winners here at the Stoked Bloke Show, so that felt good. To be honest, by the time I woke up on Hawaii time in California, I went, I opened the phone, the contest's on. I was kind of not expecting it. In my mind, I was thinking Sunday for some reason. I turn it on, and we're kind of at the end. And I watch the finals. I see Ethan and Felipe, and even at that point, Ethan's turns look like the same turn over and over, because that wave doesn't give you a lot of variety. It doesn't. While it's a skate park, it's a wave that has to be surfed in a certain way.
I'd pay all the money you have to do those turns.
Yeah. Well, I would too, most probably. But so, Ethan and Felipe was was kind of one-sided. When you've got best of 3 and you're coming in as the number 1 seed, it's not much pressure on, because you can lose the first one. So that takes all the pressure off in the first one, and it just looked like that. That was kind of a walk in the park, and by that stage, the judges had seen the performance of Ethan several times. It wasn't any different to those other times, really. So it didn't have another gear to go to or another place to take the judges or us. And so it felt like the wave limited the performance and trapped the spectacle in a certain style of surfing that, to be honest, I was like, I've seen it before. Yeah. Didn't really, the great rider Felipe's with the snap to the air. There's 100 of them on YouTube or Instagram of someone doing that. Kids doing that.
Not like that, but yes, you're right.
But very similar. And as a showcase moment for a year of surfing, I just came back to that wave just does not do it for me.
No, that can't be the wave at the end of the year.
That wave can't. That just doesn't do it. Caroline Marks on the backhand, solid, strong, momentum was going her way. I feel like crying now for Carissa Moore. Really, you can't. I was about to say she got robbed 2 world titles because of that system, but that's not right, because everybody's in that system. You have to surf in that system. You have to be prepared to do whatever the system and the rules tell you to do. You have to be ready to participate in that way. You can't have an opinion about it and try and change things. You've got to go with what it is. So I feel for Carissa. She's been the best surfer in the world for those years. This format obviously doesn't suit her. She looked nervous. She didn't look, it wasn't her best surfing. A lot of the people I saw, I thought their boards looked too short. Ethan's looked the right length, and Caroline's looked the right length, and there was this length in those boards where I was like, that looks right under their feet, and they get a lot of board up above the lip, particularly Caroline on the backhand, and then to see her win, that's a Cinderella story, that one, that was a beauty. And the Goofy's got some revenge and got a world title, and America, Florida, continues to be the world's greatest producer of surfing talent to date, perhaps, When you take Kelly, the Hobgoods, Lisa Anderson, Frida Zamba, you look over history and there's more world titles coming out of that state than anywhere else. And congratulations to both Felipe, and obviously has been the best surfer in the world for the last 2 years, deserves his world titles. Clean, easy, not too much, and very respectful, and the way he spoke and the way he celebrated his success was fantastic and respectful to everyone else. And then Caroline's was, as I said, a Cinderella story. It was great to watch her. I just think that wave drags the whole thing down and isn't the platform to show the best surfing in the world. And if you wanted to have the Olympics overtake you in terms of its position, if there's like a struggle between the Olympics, ISA and WSL for leading administrative body in the world of surfing, when they go to the Olympics at Chopu, and if they get waves, that will be the greatest surfing event of all time, perhaps, and eclipse what Lower Trestles is capable of delivering. It will never match. And the only place that can stand up and match is perhaps right out here at your back door there is pipeline, because it's been there, it's done, it's proven, it's tested. We've said it before. So that was I think the surfing was great. You were there on the beach. I'm interested to hear what you think, but in summation from me, I think the surfing was great. I think the athletes were amazing. It's a great idea and a way of running an event, but as a world title venue and a world title format, I don't like it. They released the tour, WSL. We've seen the new tour come out.
The new schedule looks a lot like the old schedule.
It does, without a surf ranch, which was super interesting.
And no J-Bay.
Maybe the surf ranch is more valuable on a day-to-day rental basis than it is for an event, and you don't deal with all of the judging difficulties that they've had in the direct comparison. That broke the internet this year, and so maybe they stepped away from the controversy a little bit, and they could make the money another way that doesn't give them grief.
Okay,
So,
I'll make a prediction, though. I guarantee you there will be an event at the Surf Ranch.
some kind of event.
No, there's going to be an event, I bet, because of the pandemic round 2. Mm-hmm. They're going to be at a loss for a venue, and they will go to the Surf Ranch. That's just my prediction.
I like it.
What do you
like
think?
it a lot.
Conspiracy theory.
I like it. I think that there's every chance.
And to be honest, it's not a bad thing to have that Surf Ranch in your back pocket. If you were doing a tour, if you were them, not me, but if you were them, and something fell through, or you couldn't get a sponsor and you couldn't go to Brazil, hey, let's rally at the Surf Ranch. You know, you have a pool in your backyard, let's have a barbecue here.
Yeah.
I'm not saying I like it. I'm saying it's a pretty good business move to have that thing available.
I mean, I like it. I think the wave is incredible.
They could change the format.
And it might need the tweaking of the format. I was surprised to see it off because it's an asset they own. So you think they would want to continue to put it there, but maybe it's been there long enough and its job's done.
I think more like you said. I think it's more valuable to rent day to day. I don't think it was because of the feedback of the public or anything like that.
On the judging.
Because they haven't listened to feedback about anything and made a change anywhere.
Fair call.
So I don't think it's a feedback reason, or like maybe they just couldn't get a sponsor, or like I said, maybe it's just rented.
Yeah, and maybe it's a better deal to rent it. Yeah, and the there's always controversy. It's interesting because the direct comparison without the ocean giving judges an indication that was a better wave. This was a better wave, and giving you an indication of how to judge when every wave's the same.
It almost exposed the judging because every wave was the same, and you still couldn't get it right.
It completely exposes the judging or the difficulties in doing it, eh? And so stepping away from that could be good. The big in-out switchover was the switcheroony was J-Bay out, Tavarua, Fiji back in.
Yeah, we love Tavarua.
We love Fiji back in. It's an incredible wave. They needed more less. 100%. But I would dare say that of this year's tour, J-Bay was the highlight. And each year there's something so special about going to Africa, about that wave, about the beauty of the environment, the whole thing about Africa and the tour being there. I'm going to miss that. I definitely think there are events you could have dropped and kept J-Bay if it was financially viable, which they say is the reason for not running the event.
Okay, just so you know, no WSL event is financially viable. They don't make money.
On any event?
Any event.
Well, I suppose that's what goes on, isn't it? And gone on through the history of our sport from IPS, ASP, WSL. Is it trying to find a business model that's successful?
It probably was financially viable when it was the IPS and the prize money was $1,000 and a bottle of vodka. Yeah. That was probably
Smirnoff.
That was probably viable.
Yeah.
Set up a little scaffolding, 100 people on the beach.
Yeah, and even through to the ASP days, it was still just a scaffolding on the beach and webcasts. Whole production has got to be an expensive thing. I suppose there's technology that will lower the cost of that in time. But all in all, the schedule, there was the usual events.
Not much difference.
Not much. Surf Ranch out was big to me, and then J-Bay was sad, but Fiji offset the sad. And you went, wow, that's epic. And they needed more left, so that's a nice play in that direction.
But back to trestles for the finals day.
4th year in a row.
4th year in a row back to trestles.
I just don't see that wave. The wave for the world has to have a chew.
Okay, pretend you're picking a spot. You don't like finals day, but you've been tasked and paid a handsome sum of $400.
Yes.
To pick a finals day spot. Would it be macaronis?
Oh no, literally it'd be pipeline. No, I would never.
But you can't show everything at pipeline. There's no turns or errors.
No, but it's
and it has to be proper pipeline with a proper waiting period so that it's good.
And it's Mount Everest.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's Mount Everest. It's where the past champions have won. If you look at Bells Beach, say, as past champions have won, that's a wave that is you can see its longboard qualities, and it's been dragged through from those days, and we respect that tradition, so it still has its place. But Pipeline's not like that. Doesn't matter who you are. You can be John, Jamie O'Brien. It still takes a serious commitment, and it's a wave of consequence. It's got a left and a right. You can get big scores going both ways. There is the opportunity for airs or turns at certain points on those waves, and we've seen that in the past. It's kind of been disencouraged by the judging over the years, but I feel like there is that, and I just go for the history, the tradition, and the pride that comes with winning at Pipeline.
Okay, so I will say this.
But the tour itself needs all those other waves.
One thing to think about, when the tour ended at Pipeline in that traditional format, a lot of times it ended in Portugal. It ended early.
Sometimes.
When it was a point-based through the year. We got tons of world title finishes at Portugal, which was a big decision to go to this finals day because they were losing the impact of what was on the line at Pipeline. It was just more points, but Gabriel, John, people had secured it, an event early. So it's
But
a little
you can't
interesting.
You can't avoid that if it's accumulation of points.
Right,
And
which we
people-
like. We like accumulation of points though, right?
And every surfer, I love accumulation of points, and every surfer's trying to win it before Pipeline.
Could you
No one wants to come down to that.
so could you double weight the last event?
That's an interesting point.
Or
I
weight
just
and a
think-
half?
I just think in the years, when you look over the time where it's been won before the final event, Martin Potter did it. It doesn't happen very often.
Okay, but so do you think you could weight the last contest like points and a half?
I mean, you could if you wanted to try and create a situation that that allowed people to come to that final event and guaranteed it for you. But if you respect the performance and the equality of all events and all venues, and it's all the same, whether it's, Brazil or Pipeline, wherever.
Well, okay, wait. What if you double weighted real spots all through the year?
See, you could have that.
Shopu, Pipe, J-Bay, we know it's not, but those are majors and they're double points.
But you could double point based on the conditions when you know them. You could come to Pipeline
Okay, so
or to Portugal.
6 feet and over, it's a double point event.
You could go to Brazil and score the rights in that corner at Saquarema, and it would be as good as off the wall or backdoor.
It's a
and you'd be
double
like,
point day.
Okay, you go, hey, this event's going to be double points because of the forecast.
Here we go, trying to fix something that doesn't need our fixing.
And we don't even care. Just do your thing. We love it.
Do whatever you do and we'll comment on it.
That's
We
right.
love the surfing.
We love the surfers. We're at that point in time where there's not a lot of surfing events going on in the world. But
Perfect
there
time
is-
for an online event.
There's a
Barton.
perfect time for the BL Blast-Off Global Video Challenge, presented in 2023 by Barton Lynch Pro Surfing, the video game.
Very cool.
Are our presenting sponsors. Going to be giving away the video games on a weekly basis to the kids in the event. Blast-Off's going to run from October 16th to November 17th. Shorten the period to about a month this year, but still it's primarily focused on a coaching program. You kids submit your videos. We've got a panel of coaches that review them and give you coaching advice that you can go away and work on, and then come back and submit another video. And that's why we run for that period of time. So get your videos in early, get the coaching advice, work on that coaching advice, get your next video in, and see if within this month we can help you improve your surfing and get stoked hanging with a global community.
Where do
of
they
frothing
find out?
surfers.
Where do people go to find this all out?
BartonLynch.com is where you submit your videos, and we open, as I said, October 16th. So check out my website, it's all there, and we can't wait to see you guys ripping and see you guys' videos and share the stoke with you for this month-long celebration.
And also, do kids submit their videos now, or do you only submit in that month? So do you film now, stock up your videos, so they can go right now to the website and figure out the categories they want to submit. They can submit as much as they like, am I correct?
Exactly. As many videos as you like. You might have your best tube shot and your best air shot and your GoPro point of view.
Did you stick with the Wipeout, but you changed the name? What's that called this year?
Yeah, no, we're going Wipeout again.
Are we calling it
Oh,
Best
Wipeout!
Wipeout or Worst Wipeout?
Yeah, we don't know. It's a best and it's a worst because the way the kids manage them, isn't it? We said that last year, but still the wipeouts. So we look forward to the wipeouts. And then one that we're doing as well is your Nelly Makes.
What?
So creatures of leisure have access to the urban surf wave pool in Melbourne for a winner of this Nelly Make. So you know how you've got those clips and it's like, oh, I put that one in my clip. It's so close, but I didn't make it.
Oh, you're saying the word nearly.
Yeah.
Nelly mate. I thought, what's a Nelly mate? Is a Nelly mate an Australian partner or buddy? I don't know. Nelly mates?
Nearly make.
Oh my
Aussies.
gosh.
Eh?
Okay, nearly make. I like that.
Yeah, so for those shots that ordinarily wouldn't go into your clip, but they're so close and they're good, we're going to have a nearly make category, and the winner of that's going to get to go to that urban surf wave pool. And this particular category is going to be for Australians only because they need the access to the pool. So that's how we're going to manage that one. In the past with COVID, we've had trips to the mould. We've had all these prizes that we've given to kids and give with the world the way it's gone. And then with the price of airfares, with the inflation going on at the moment, the way that is, people aren't able to redeem those prizes because of the restrictions on travel globally. So with this year, our goal is to try and not commit to things that in the end we can't give to the kids or they're not able to redeem because of the global circumstances surrounding it. So that's something we're aware of. But the key to this thing is last year we had videos from 26 different countries.
Wow.
So it's a global community and we bring everyone together. They meet people and end up travelling and connecting with them later in life. And PK's going to play us out.
No, I'm not.
Give it to us, bro. Give it to us.
I just realized I make these custom guitars with Fender parts, and they're always back here. So we're going to give away a guitar.
People ask me all the time,
Yeah.
what's with the guitars
Those
on
are
the
my
set?
guitars. If you looked around this whole house, there's a lot of guitars, and I've been building these custom guitars.
Did you really?
When I say built, I didn't cut
Put
down
them together,
a tree.
no.
Mostly assembled with unique parts, style, format, etc. But I want to offer one. We got to come up with a category, and I'll make a New Earth Fender Strat or Surf Jaguar guitar, and we'll give it away as a prize. So
You know where that could go?
where would it go?
To the New Earth Project clean-up category.
There you go.
New
Gonna
Earth
win a
Project.
guitar.
Yeah, we got late to the event last year with
now
that
we're on
concept,
time.
and we had got amazing videos. And the clean-up category
Yeah,
to
describe
win
it.
one of these guitars. Are you doing that?
cool, yeah.
That's epic. I'm excited. I hope you kids are. So the clean-up category, presented by a New Earth Project, our sponsor here for the podcast, is videos of kids doing good in their community. You might be doing a food drive, you might be cleaning up your beach, you and your mates might be helping some of the older people in the community. Here is the prize for that category. It's called cleanup, but really it should be called doing good shit. Doing good things for your community. So get those videos in for the chance to win one of these amazingly PK constructed, Fender branded guitars. Thank you everybody. Thank you, PK.
Welcome back, Stoked Bloke, pain-free and excited.
Oh, I love you guys. Love being pain-free. Love the podcast. Love having the chance to come in and talk with you and share our ideas. Hope you guys are doing great out there in the world. And we'll be back on a more regular basis now that we're both here and the season's coming. So we're going to be able to keep you tuned in on what the Hawaiian winter season brings on a weekly basis. So in the meantime, we love yous. Thanks for joining the podcast.